What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Today, we are at the theater for our spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine. And to make it more special, we have a special guest, Rob from Attack on Show. Rob, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Waiting a long time to hang out with you guys. So I think there's nothing more epic than Deadpool and Wolverine for us to
Are you saying that the moment that we shared when I wouldn't get out of the food line at Comic-Con, are you saying that wasn't the ultimate team up? Where you're like, well, I'm going to go enjoy Comic-Con, and I'm like, well, I really want this hot dog?
I think that was after like 4 hours of being there, sweating through my costume. Yeah, this is a close second.
Okay.
Still a good time.
Oh, good. All right.
Now,
What?
hype level.
Oh, through the roof.
Yes.
All the way.
I don't know that I've ever been this excited for a film. Like I have been so ready for this movie for a long time. I mean, Deadpool blew me away from part one.
Yeah.
I can't wait. My expectations are super high.
From the moment they had that video where Ryan Reynolds was sitting there, and you see Hugh Jackman walk by and he goes, hey, you want to do it one more time? He goes, sure, why not? It's like been just rising to epic levels, and I hope the film can live up to it. I mean, the trailers have looked great.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be falling in place. Ryan Reynolds obviously loves and gets his character. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, so
I have been thoroughly impressed by all the marketing. I mean, as somebody said on, I want to say it was like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. They called it a guerrilla marketing campaign, and I got to say, like, it's phenomenal. Normally, I kind of like roll my eyes at product placement, but they're doing it so well because it's clearly Deadpool first. Like they're doing like Coke, or they're doing some Pringles or some crap or whatever, and it's like, oh, but we're going to cuss, we're going to do this and everything, and the product is second. Come see the movie. I love that.
Well, all the way down to the popcorn bucket.
Yes.
Like mock Dune. I mean, the butter drip. I mean, just everything about it kept the Deadpool edge.
Yes.
The comedy, and still marketed the movie while marketing something else brilliant.
yes.
I got to say, when I pulled into the theater, and I actually had to legit look for a spot to park. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is exciting because we've come to see a couple of movies recently,
Yeah, we were
and
the only ones in there.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's been bad. So
This is
nice. We don't speak
Any
bad.
concerns? Any fears going into this?
I think there's always
Nope.
fears going into it. Like, who knows if they're going to be able to recreate that magic again?
True.
I always
Disney
like,
owning it now? It's not.
Right. Are they
How
going to
much-
put limiters on it?
how much freedom is Ryan going to have with the character? What's going to happen? I think there's always, anytime a new movie comes out, you're worried that is this going to be where they hit the rim? Is this where they jump the shark, to put it in that terms? I
Yeah.
certainly hope not. It doesn't seem like it, but
I mean, I was excited for Doctor Strange, and they kept kind of piecing all those cameos, and like, man, there must be so much more. And then when you went to see Doctor Strange, there really wasn't. I hope they got more surprises for us, because the commercials, the trailers for this have been showing us a lot.
they have given away a ton.
There's been so many rumors flying about like who might be in it. Is Taylor Swift going to appear? Things like that,
Well, you know what? It's about to start, so let's head in, and we'll be right back.
LFG.
That's right.
Where's
Uh-oh.
where'd it
Spin it around. Well, was it everything you dreamed?
Normally, when Doug buys a popcorn tin, the movie fails. But there are always exceptions to that rule. And tonight was an exception to that rule. I mean,
Does this mean the curse is broken?
the curse is broken.
Oh, thank God.
The curse
Best
is broken.
thing since Spider-Man. What do you think?
I think this was better as far as the film, but this has probably been the most fun I've had in a movie since Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
No way.
laughed
Like,
all the way through.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, the humor was fantastic. The fight scenes were amazing.
So good.
And honestly, the cameo, one of the things I was worried about was the cameos were just going to be there
Too many.
for cameo opinions. There wasn't too many, and all of them were baked into the story, so it wasn't just, they weren't just there.
Well,
for
now
cameo sake.
we can always we can always send it over to Sony and see if they can whip it up and maybe shove a few more people, just really shove the corpses of all these dead movies in there. I mean, it'd be great.
I'm glad you brought up the action because that was something that in watching the movie, I love Deadpool 1, I love Deadpool 2, but one thing that was missing for me in Deadpool 2 was they almost made Deadpool a little too slapstick comedic for me, and it didn't have the wicked action sequences toward part 1 when he jumps into the car, you know, the carpool trade and just wipes everybody out like that. It was such a great action sequence. 2 didn't quite have that badass Deadpool. It was more comedy. Towards this one, I thought found the perfect balance. We got our awesome action sequences with Deadpool. You knew why you feared Deadpool, and you got to see why he was such a badass, but he was also hilarious.
Yeah.
So they combined both elements, I thought, perfect in this
He
movie.
was also clumsy. And he's still right when you walk in, you're just in your face with that incredible action.
Yes.
The first 5 minutes of this film really blew away all my expectations.
Yes.
Yeah, did not expect that.
No, I never expected that.
They took it to a place I didn't think they would. I never imagined, and it was so good.
It's like he said, if they're gonna give us an inch, let's take a mile. He did.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's this whole movie was. And you're right. I mean, the action was. This is rated R. Do not take your kids because it is.
Take your kids.
Take your kids.
It is.
Teach them right.
Be the cool dad.
It's Tarantino levels
Yeah.
in this, and it was perfection. I mean, it was so good. Everything they did, I was not taken out of this movie once.
No.
It's like as soon as it started, laughing just into the story, and then it was over.
Yeah, it knew exactly what it was, and I love that. That's always the great thing with Deadpool is that it understands it's in a cinematic universe, and it pokes fun at all angles of it. And it's almost the Eminem factor, where it's like, you're not going to make fun of me, I'm going to make fun of me first, and we're going to make you laugh at this with us. And it's just so clever. The expectations level for this film was just through the roof, as we stated before going to the movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't let down at all. At all. This is the first time I could say that in a long time.
So good.
The jokes they poked, not only at themselves and everything, at the MCU and the state of where it is, were absolutely on point.
You know what else they did? They sent like a love letter to Fox, which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Do you think it was love letter?
Well, kind of,
More like a
especially
goodbye.
at the end, I'd say.
Okay.
At the end is what I'd
More like
say.
a
That's
goodbye,
fair.
that's what it was.
But they also kind of redeemed a lot of the characters that may not have had the greatest films, may not have had the greatest appearances. I was surprised to like be rooting for. Can I say? Yeah, I think everybody knows she's in this movie, right? Is it?
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No
No.
spoilers.
Okay.
No.
There are a
It's a
few
character.
characters that are in the movie that, you know, people may not have been excited when that movie came out. Redeemed in this.
Yes.
Redeemed in this.
And even with all the commercials, there are so many surprises in this film. I don't think you can spoil just saying that, because I don't think, regardless of what anybody says, without saying names, people are going to be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fantastic that they were able to pull this off. I did my best to avoid pictures, because people were just hammering photos out behind the scenes when they were filming this, and I tried to avoid it. I'm glad it didn't get spoiled for me, and I'm really glad they were able to pull us off. Hopefully nothing gets spoiled for anybody else. But go see the movie quick, because I don't know that this secret will be kept for long.
Oh yeah.
And every time it got like a little too serious or sad, snap out of it with a joke, you know. But it wasn't a joke in a bad way. It would snap you back into the main plot.
It was keeping it lighthearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that a great, like a
Trait?
great trait for this film? Yes, that I mean, as comedic as it is, all the action, there's still heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
You still care for these characters. They still pull you in. And it's almost as if they catch it, like, all right, time to pull us back out. Like this, we're not supposed to be too dramatic, but they do a great job at even hitting the emotional strings in this, in these movies. That you
Excellent
care and you
writing.
root for these people.
Yes.
Even
Excellent
with
writing,
Deadpool, like Deadpool had a much more heartfelt story than I thought they would ever attempt or be able to pull off. I mean, there was a lot of great actors in here. Like Emma Corrin as Cassandra Dover was phenomenal. Hugh Jackman, what is he not? He was tremendous like he always is. But even Ryan Reynolds, I think, showed much more of a range in this than he's really ever shown before. And I was shocked by that.
How would you rate Hugh Jackman's performance as Logan in this compared to the other ones? Would you say this was his best, or do you still think his performance in Logan? Because I think everyone rates Logan the highest.
I think Logan was still better as far as his performance goes.
Because it was more serious.
Yeah. I enjoyed it still in this one.
I like this one. Yeah. He was
I'm
all
with
over
you.
the map. Yeah,
this
he
felt
was-
more Wolverine Logan for me
Yeah.
than Logan, and it tapped into both. I think sides of that. Pretty well balanced.
When he needed to be Wolverine, he was Wolverine. When he needed to be funny, he was funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he even sang for a second.
Well, they did play a song from another one of his movies
Yes.
during it.
Yes.
So, yes.
Speaking of songs, did you guys like the soundtrack? 'Cause I was digging it.
Oh, yeah.
Every song.
Highlight.
Loved it.
All-Star.
I legit, like, so whenever I used to love a soundtrack of a movie, I would go to FYE, I know, Blast from the Past, and I would actually buy the CD of the, I wish I could do that. I really do
For
wish I
you
could
kids
do
at
that.
home, FYE was a store at a mall where you could buy physical copies of songs.
I was gonna say, there's definitely gonna be a generational divide, I think, on this soundtrack, and we just aged ourselves by all loving it.
Go download. See, now I'm hip on today.
Download it onto your MP3 player.
Yes.
There, yeah.
Yes.
Get on LimeWire immediately.
Who's got an MP3 player? It's a Zoom, man. Don't you want
Oh,
smart
God.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
And before we get into the ratings, just so you know, there is a video that plays during the credits. It's not a mid-credit scene, but it's definitely worth watching. And then there is one post-credit scene, which I
Stay for
thoroughly enjoyed.
Stay for it.
Definitely have to stay for it.
And nobody was getting up.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Everybody,
People
not a
finally
single
learned.
person got on the seat.
They finally
It only
learned.
took like 20 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
24 movies, they got it. But should we rank this now?
I think so.
Rank or rate?
Rate. What did I say?
You said rank.
Let's rank it. It
All
is
right.
number one.
We go
It's
24
stinky. It was really
movies.
brain.
Okay, I'll go first. We'll go this way.
All right.
I'm going to give this movie, I'm just going to go straight out the gate. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I wanted to give it a 10, but I don't think I can break it up there with Endgame. So I'm going to give it a 9.5. It was completely amazing. I was blown away. It lived up to the hype. It's the only real superhero movie this year. I mean, look at Craven or something. No.
Oh, God.
Don't even mention that movie while we're talking about
Why
this.
do you keep reminding me it
Because
exists?
that's going to be a 10. That's why. Yeah, this is just at the top of the list. Definitely like the movie of the year for us so far.
No, I agree completely. I mean, the acting, the jokes, the music, the action, even the story. While very basic story, that's all it needed to get us where we needed to go.
Yep.
And I'm exactly with Dave, a 9.5.
I was thrilled. I was thrilled to come into this movie. I've been looking forward to it, and it delivered. It ultimately delivered everything that it promised. The cameos were great. It wasn't too much. They didn't shove, just a bunch of nonsense Easter eggs in your face. It was like Ryan Reynolds went to Disney and said, look, we're going to make a Deadpool movie. You're going to let me do what I want, and we're going to make it good. Let's fucking go. All right? So, I mean, it was perfection. Like I said, like they said, the action was phenomenal. I loved the music. I loved the story. And yeah, it might have been a little bit basic, but I loved it. I dug every minute of it. It was heartfelt at moments. Like, we got to explore some of these characters. Easily, for me, also, 9.5 out of 10.
I think you guys are being harsh. I'm going 11 out of 10. Like, this movie, I loved it. This was literally everything I wanted out of a Deadpool film. Deadpool 1, like I keep saying, was amazing, but obviously had some budget restraints, and I thought they did great for what they had in a budget to try and launch the series. Deadpool 2 didn't quite hit it. Like I said, it was missing some of the hardcore Deadpool action sequences. This movie hits on every single note. I will be seeing it multiple times in theaters. I have no issues spending money on this film. I don't even know what the runtime is or was, and I don't care. It didn't feel like I was in the theater that long. I would gladly go right back into the theater and sit for another, I know it's 2+ hours, but I would gladly go back and give them my money again and do this right now all over on repeat.
I definitely
Rinse,
would,
repeat.
yeah.
But
That's a scale breaker.
it's
Wow, yeah.
This is. I would put this honestly. I would put this ahead of Infinity War, for at least on my Marvel, because that was like my previous favorite. That, No Way Home, and then, I mean, this movie is up there, I think rivals it. It's going to rebirth the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is Marvel Jesus. He is accurate in that phrase. I think that we're going to see a correction in the Marvel Universe, and I think we owe that to Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman. I think this movie's going to set things straight. I'm hopeful, and we will see, because you said Saturday, some big announcements. So.
Yeah, Hall H, you know, Marvel Studios at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if they sort of had this come out today so they can make announcements, because it does seem like there could be some changes to their previous roadmap, but we'll have to see. But hey, you know what? Join us Sunday night on our Twitch stream and YouTube Live. We'll talk about Deadpool. We'll talk about all the spoilers. We'll talk about everything we heard at Hall H on Saturday night, anything we hear at Comic-Con. So tune us in. Tune in. Let us know what you think. Maybe we'll have another
Live? Is this
once again showing our age. Take your radio dial and tune it to Boomer or... But don't forget to leave the comments down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.